Is that coming through to? Saying hello. So instead of like going around and greeting our neighbor hand to hand, we're going to play these little videos, and it's about 2 minutes of videos, just like 10 second, 10 second, 10 second, 15-second little video clips, and they're just Thank you, our lawless firm, for that lovely live music. Welcome, members and friends, to the Unitarian Church of Vancouver. We're broadcasting live this Sunday morning from this beautiful sanctuary at 49th and Oak. I hope you're doing well out there. How are folks from the lawless firm? We doing all right?
Oh, we're doing wonderfully. It's
Eleanor?
a beautiful sanctuary to play
Yeah, it
in.
is. So nice to have you all here. And thanks so much for our technical crew to making this broadcast possible. You know, this last week I've been thinking about a French phrase that I really like. It's called reculer pour mieux sauter. Reculer pour mieux sauter. That means to draw back in order to make a better jump. Have you ever seen a cat just about to spring off the ground? It kind of goes back, it sets back a bit, and then it leaps forward. Well, that's reculer pour mieux sauter. Or every once in a while, an army that's in disarray, it beats a strategic retreat so it can regroup its forces and then go out in battle. Well, what about us and these abnormal times? I think it's time for us also to think about reculer pour mieux sauter. We're gathering inside. We're meeting together as families. We're, calming down a bit, hopefully, gathering our strength. And who knows, when normal times come again, and believe me, they will, maybe we'll go out into the world kinder, wiser, smarter than we did before, hopefully making this world a better place. So can you say that French phrase with me? Reculer pour mieux sauter. Let's think about that and put it into practice as we go from our homes, walking out in the beautiful rain and sun in Vancouver and around. And now, normally, we take this time for greeting our neighbors. And Christian Malcolm has arranged a very special kind of greeting. A number of people in our congregation have sent in video greetings, and let's hear and see what they have to say. It takes about 2 minutes, but they're going to be short and sweet greetings from members of the congregation.
Hi, everyone. Lynn Armstrong checking in to say hello. Good morning.
Hello, and we miss you.
From Carrie,
Esme, and Hawk.
Hello from the Brismus family. We are well.
Just staying home.
Hope you are all well.
good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey everybody, it's Jenny.
Benny.
And Liam. And we're really happy we can still come to church.
Hello, Unitarians. I just saw this as I went to bed, but I want to say hi. It's Catherine Ponsford. I'm spending my days making TikTok videos to keep my 11-year-old out of trouble and cleaning my house like it's never been cleaned before. It feels fantastic. I'm enjoying this precious time with my family. Thanks.
Hello from the Bomford Moore family, from Kirsten, Brendan,
Mike,
Liam,
Hi.
and Elena. Happy Sunday.
Hi, UCVers. I'm here in the seashell with my daughter Stephanie and her partner Fraser. Look at the nice view I have.
Hello from the Prescott's.
Hello, everyone, from Erin and Lyndon. Can you say hello? We miss you, and we'll see you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. This is Eva Allen. I'm so glad that we can have physical distancing, but not social distancing. See you online, virtually. Bye.
Did you enjoy that? I certainly did. It was lovely seeing folks greeting and welcoming everyone to this congregation and to this meeting this morning. It's time now for us to light our chalice flame. And with these words, together we light this candle, together we see its light. With kindness and in deep bonds of community, with love for the human family in all its variety, with reverence before the world and its teeming web of life, may we care for our earthly home and each other with courage, love, and justice, and may it be so. Well, it's time now for our opening hymn, and you'll find the lyrics to our opening hymn, This Little Light of Mine, on your video screen. So, Lawless Firm and Elliot, let's start the music and sing that opening hymn.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The first verse, one more time.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Oh, that made me feel better. How about you? Is your light shining this morning? Students and scholars, I have a story to share with you this morning. Do you know, normally I pick a book for us to read on Saturday afternoons, and I go to our local library and find a book to share on Sunday mornings. But guess what? All the libraries are closed. It made me realize how much I love libraries, how often I go to the library, and how much I love books and reading. But as it turned out, I had a book at home that I'd like to share with you this morning. So I'm going to go over to my chair there and this book, and while the camera moves over there, I think you're going to enjoy it. So here's today's book. It's called I Do Not Like Books Anymore. Do you remember seeing books about Alphonse and Natalie? Well, this is another one, and it's got a surprising title. I do not like books anymore. I wonder why Natalie's saying that. We'll have to find out. So here it goes. Natalie and Alphonse really liked books and stories. And I liked turning the page. They liked picture books with Dad. They liked scary books Mom read when Alphonse was sleeping. They liked granny stories about Melvin Plantpot and the terrible shrew. And stories they remembered or made up. all kinds of stories. Natalie said, when I can read, I'll have all the stories in the world whenever I want them. And you can read them to me, said Alphonse. Wouldn't that be nice? Then, one day, Natalie got her first reading book. It was called Sit. Oh, there's a cat in it, said Natalie. I'll read it all by myself. But when she opened the book, the letters and words looked like prickles or birds' feet. Oh, boy. Miss Bimble said, Natalie, it just takes practice. So she helped Natalie sound out the words. The book was about a cat. The cat could sit. But it isn't a story, said Natalie. Natalie tried to read the book to Mom. I can't, said Natalie, and nothing even happens to the cat. I like it when you and Dad read to me. You'll be able to, said Mom. And Dad said, and the books will get better and better. So, Natalie practiced her reading book all week, again and again and again, wherever she went, until she knew all of the words. Natalie is reading, said Alphonse. There's Natalie's reading. I can sit. See me sit. Now, can you read about trains, please, and bears, said Alphonse. Well, let's see. Oh, Alphonse gave her a book, but the letters and words in Alphonse's books looked like scuttling insects with too many legs and eyes. Natalie said, no. Oh my gosh. I do not like books anymore. And boy, she kicked her book, and all her pens and things go flying. Oh, what's going to happen? I can't learn to read anymore, said Natalie. Sinead is sick. Now, Sinead's her little pet elephant. You see it? She's got Sinead in her arms. Sinead is sick, and I have to look after her. Oh, poor Sinead, said Mom, but you can still learn to read. I don't need to, said Natalie. I can make up my own stories, and I'll tell them to Alphonse. So, here she is with Alphonse and Sinead, and she's starting to make up her own story. And it starts out like this. Sinead wanted a bicycle to go to the farm to see the chickens. But she didn't have any money, so she had to get a job. What job? Said Alphonse. Cleaning up the pens. Then a caterpillar came in a truck. See the caterpillar in a truck? Oh boy. A caterpillar came in a truck and ran over all the pens, and it was a mess and a disaster. Sinead the elephant was angry and said, Eric, you ruined my job. Now how can I buy a bicycle and go to the farm? Is Eric the caterpillar's name? Yes. And Eric said, I know. You can ride in my truck to see the chickens. And they drove away honking the horn. And some of the chickens went home with them. Some did, and they had tomatoes in their tea. Oh, that's a good story, said Alphonse. It should be in a book. Why, said Natalie. So you can tell it again, and with pictures. Well, let's draw the pictures. Anyway, so that's what they're going to do. You see them down on their bellies drawing pictures. They're making their own picture book. Then Natalie told Dad what the words should say, and they stapled it into a book. Now can you tell it to me again, said Alphonse. And there they are. And Natalie found that mostly she could read the book they'd written. And that's what they did. See that? They could read, now they could read the book that they had written together. And guess what? Natalie and Alphonse made up one storybook after another, and that's the way that Natalie learned how to read. You know, sometimes things that we really want, like how to read, things we want to do, it takes lots and lots of practice. And I think we're all practicing right now how to be home, how to do social distancing, how to be good neighbors, all kinds of things. So let's think about how Natalie learned to read. Even though she said, I do not like books anymore, I bet Natalie discovered she liked books after all. And I think that with practice, we can find out how to do all kinds of things and be happy with them. So that's my story for today. And I'll be looking for stories in my house. I'll be rummaging around for books, and hopefully we'll be bringing books for you in the weeks to come. Now, usually in our services, when everyone's in this room, a member of the board comes up here and gives a warm welcome to everyone and shares announcements and reads from the book of celebrations and concerns. And so usually they say something like this: Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Vancouver. We acknowledge that we are meeting on unceded traditional Musqueam land, and we extend a special welcome to anyone visiting with us today, and to UCV members who've been away for a while. Welcome back. Now, we're not going to be meeting after the service in Hewitt Center across the courtyard for coffee and conversation. I hope that you'll take some time after this service today to raise a cup of tea and greet one another and go outside and take a lovely walk and explore your neighborhood and see all the beautiful blossoms and flowers that are blooming everywhere. And we're not reading from the book of celebrations and concerns today because you're not here. But I want to tell you that, and this is important, if you have a special celebration or a concern to share, please email or call me. Okay? And you can do that from home. You can call me at 604-261-7206, or you can email me at rev@vancouverunitarians.ca. That's R-E-V, rev, at vancouverunitarians, all one word, .ca. And we'll collect your celebrations and concerns in the office and share them with you as appropriate as time goes on. And now, we take time for an offering that's deeply appreciated, offerings that we share for the work of this congregation. Now, we continue to support the work of our wonderful congregation and our outreach opportunities recipient, the Aboriginal Mother Center, through an online offering. You don't have to be here. You can do it from home. And Christian is posting on our screen how you can make an offering to the work of the congregation and to the Aboriginal Mother Center. And I want to just remind you that the Aboriginal Mother Center provides many services, including counseling, education, training, spiritual and social support, and purpose-built accommodation for at-risk mothers and their children, even now. The Aboriginal Mother Center also organizes homelessness outreach and family wellness programs and operates a licensed daycare and community kitchen. Can you find that text on your screen about how we can give online? Please take a look at it. Let's be generous. Let's now give an offering for the work of this congregation, and we'll be able to listen while we do that to a lovely song, "A Flower is a Lovesome Thing," performed by the Lawless Firm.
Lush something. A daffodil, a rose, no matter where it grows, is such a lovely, lovesome thing. A flower is the heart of spring that makes the rolling hillside sing. The gentle winds that blow, blow gently, for they know a flower is a lovesome thing. Swaying in the breeze, swaying with the trees, in the silent night or in the morning light, such a miracle. Azaleas drinking pale moonbeams, gardenias floating through daydreams. No matter where it grows, no matter where you go, a flower is a lovesome thing. Playing with the breeze, swaying with the trees, in the silent night or in the morning light, such a miracle. Azaleas drinking pale moonbeams, gardenias floating through daydreams. Wherever it may grow, no matter where you go, a flower is a lovesome thing.
Aren't flowers lovesome things? There's so many blooming right now. I've seen people walk through our campus here at 49th and Oak, enjoying the sunshine, and I see them stopping and looking at our flowers. I even saw someone bending down to take a good breath, a good inhalation of the scent of the hyacinths just outside these windows and doors. Well, thank you for that song. And now it's time for some meditation. Time for us to silently, thoughtfully meditate just for a few minutes. Meditate and pray about things that are deep and meaningful to us. And to take us into that short, quiet place, I'd like to share these words with you that were spoken by Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And he said this: "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news or other places, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.' To this day, especially in times of disasters, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in the world. because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope. Please join with me now, just for a short time of silent meditation, thought, and prayer. It's so quiet here in the sanctuary. Was it quiet at home? Listen to those words again from Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Thank you for that lovely, lovely tune. Well, I want to remind everyone that the office here at the Unitarian Church of Vancouver remains open, and that our board and committees of our congregation are meeting remotely via Zoom, by telephone, by email. The good work of our congregation continues, so I want to make sure that we all know that. And also to remind all of you, and you can get the word out to others, that if you have a special celebration or concern to share, please email or call me in the office. And I'm going to say that telephone number one more time, 604-261-7206, or email me at rev@vancouverunitarians.ca. And also, just to tell you that next week we'll be broadcasting again, and the Reverend Ron Ferris from the North Shore Unitarian Church will be here to speak, and I'm going up to North Shore to speak and live stream to their congregation. It's called the Pulpit Exchange, and I hope you'll enjoy what he has to say. Well, in our meditation a little while ago, I shared some words spoken by Fred Rogers, where he said, "Look for the helpers. You'll always find people who are helping." I think that it's true and important to remember. All week long, I've watched bus drivers, mail carriers, store clerks, and people in the trades. I've seen medical professionals, first responders, people of our own congregation's staff doing their work. The work of transporting, caring, communicating, feeding, building, music making. The work of keeping things going. The work of helping others in these trying times. I've also seen many random, spontaneous acts of kindness this past week, people being kind and helpful to me. Let's just take a moment and think about the helpers and say in our hearts a sincere thank you. Every time I see a bus go by, I wave to the bus driver and give them a big thumbs up, and they always wave back and give me thumbs up as well. Let's also think about the ways we've helped and the ways we can care for ourselves and others during these coming days and weeks, maybe even months to come. Thinking about helpers is a good reminder of what we talked about last week, what the evolutionary biologist Stephen Jay Gould called the great asymmetry. That is, for every incident of evil or disaster, we need to remember there are and always have been 10,000 acts of decent kindness carried out by women, men, and children every day. Acts too quiet and ordinary to grab the news headlines, but it's the deepest truth about the human family and our birthright. For now, I'm going to be talking about a different kind of helper that I want us to think about. They're not people, they're not animals, they don't have hands, and they don't walk or move around. In fact, they pretty much stay put all the time. They breathe and live, and we find them just about everywhere in the world. And speaking of the world, there just wouldn't be any world or life or us or love or thinking and doing of any kind without these helpers who also happen to be very quiet. Can you guess what they are? That's right, plants. And while it may seem a bit strange not to be talking about viruses and quarantines and how we're coping, I'm sure you're hearing a lot of that, I want us to remember that last Friday was the official beginning of spring. And it's a time we start thinking of plants and the earth. And that matters too. It matters. It's significant that the world is bigger than us and more enduring. It's seen generations of human beings rise and pass away. All the while, the seasons change, the earth abides and gives life and is faithful in its being. Signs of spring are everywhere. Crows are gathering twigs to make nests. People are turning the soil and putting in seeds to grow their gardens. Signs of spring. I even saw Rose and Violet out biking with their parents on a very sunny spring-like Thursday afternoon. And all of this and more would not be possible without plants. We live in a world made by plants by means of the most important biological and chemical process on Earth. And that's the amazing process of photosynthesis, by which plants use light energy, water, and carbon dioxide to make oxygen, food, and fuel. If there was no photosynthesis, there would be no food to eat, oxygen to breathe, no fuel for most of the people on this planet to warm their homes, cook their food, and power our lives. Let's remember how photosynthesis works, and this will take just a minute. Remember, every day the Earth bathes in sunlight, streaking to our planet from the sun. Leaves in myriad varieties, from broadleaf to pine needles, absorb that light energy. Leaves take in water and minerals rising from the roots of plants, from grasses to great trees, and inhale the carbon dioxide that humans and animals exhale from their lungs and that arise from the combustion, the burning of organic matter. And then, within the cells of the leaf, those elements of light energy, water, and carbon dioxide are amazingly transformed into food energy that's stored in the plants, which animals like us then eat for nutrition and fuel down the road. And second, that process of photosynthesis creates the oxygen we and all other animals breathe in every minute of every day. Plants are amazing. No other form of life is capable of instantly transforming solar energy into earthly biomass energy and oxygen. And the foundation of our existence comes from the sun, and plants are those beings that reach up from root to stem to branch to leaf tip, linking earth to sky and to the sun itself. On a global scale, photosynthesis creates billions of tons of organic matter containing food energy every year, an output that no other chemical process on Earth can match, and no other process is more important for life. Humans and virtually all other organisms are totally dependent on the oxygen and organic matter made by photosynthesizing plants and sea-borne algae for the air, energy, and nutrition we need to live. Okay, enough of the science lesson, but can we see it? Let's picture it in our mind's eye. There's a fundamental reciprocal relationship between plant and animal life that goes on everywhere, all the time. Plants breathing in carbon dioxide, absorbing sunlight and water, and then exhaling oxygen into the atmosphere, the very air we need to live. It's a rhythmic movement, regular and timeless, a wave without noise that goes to the limits of the horizon and then comes back to us, brushing against our bodies and filling into our lungs with life-giving air. We are immersed in it, the atmosphere we breathe, immersed and swimming in it just as fish are immersed in the sea. Plants are the breath of all living beings on the surface of the earth, and any breath is evidence that being in the world is fundamentally an experience of immersion in the medium of atmosphere, of life circulating from body to body, from place to place, from horizon to horizon. Unitarians try to be deeply, reverently attuned to the interdependent web of all existence. There would be no web, no life, without the constant complementary relationship of plants and people and other living things. It is the life-giving circulation of atmosphere that constitutes the foundation for the interdependence and unity of the web of the world. Breath is the first activity of all living things. Our own life begins with our first breath and will end with our last breath. To live is to breathe, and so in a sense, thinking is breath, seeing is breath, speaking and moving and doing and loving is breath. Breathing is a way through which we immerse ourselves in the world, through which we create and transform the world and allow the world to immerse itself in us. Now, in times like these, haunted by the specter of viruses, times when so many are wearing face masks, protective gear, and keeping precautionary distances apart, it may seem strange to think and talk about breath and atmosphere as life-giving, life-sustaining, and world-making. To that, I would say, there is an abundance of awe at hand right now. Though the natural world isn't out there to make us feel better and doesn't exist for us, nevertheless, the leaves are starting to bud, and blossoms and flowers everywhere are springing into vivid, glorious color. If we're aching for fellowship and connection, in church or in the local pub, nature, springing forth in flower and leaf, can provide a connection with that mystery and wonder that creates and upholds life. Thinking about leaves and breath and the atmosphere in which we are immersed like fish in the seas can be a wonderful, powerful tonic against fear, anxiety, and stress. If you were in any doubt that it's okay to go outside, England's chief medical officer said this last Wednesday, being outside in the park is a very good thing to do. Studies from around the world tell us what we already know intuitively. We often feel restored and refreshed when we spend time in nature. And no wonder, for there are countless myriads of living, breathing, very quiet helpers out there, making life and the living of it possible. So, here's to plants, eating the sun and sustaining and beautifying our world. And here's to us and our place in the great circle of life. Let us be mindful of one another. May we reach out kindly to one another and thus join in with that great host of helpers caring for the world, making life and hope possible in these uncertain times. And may it be so. Amen. Well, it's time for our closing hymn. Our closing hymn is called Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers, and I think it very appropriate. And it's sung to the tune of Good King Wenceslaus. You know that tune? Good King Wenceslaus looked up. No, Elliot's saying no. He's got a different idea altogether. This is what happens when you have live broadcasts. Elliot, would you start playing it so that we can remember how it goes? I think you should keep playing it through one more time. that's a lovely tune. So let's look at the lyrics. They're printed on your screen, and our musicians will play it, and let's sing along.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, for the light is striving, gone the iron touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold now make up for lost time. Herb and plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now bestirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold a green enhancing, flowers make glee among the hills, set the meadows dancing.
Oh, I like that song. And the camera's panning over to me so that I can wave and say goodbye. Think about those words again. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing. Flowers make glee among the hills and set the meadows dancing. I hope we'll be able to get outside of our homes this week, out into the hills and out into the meadows, so that we can make happy and dance through the week. We'll see you again this time. Well, it's about 11 o'clock next week, where we'll be hearing our special guest, Reverend Ron Ferris. And until then, remember that we're here for you, and that if you need to reach out with a letter, with a telephone call, and email, please don't hesitate to do so. And so to all of those of you who are watching on screen today, first a big thanks to Christian Malcolm and to Galen Elford for making this possible, for Paul Nash for opening up our buildings, for the Lawless Firm providing us and sharing that lovely music with us today. And so for now, we say, as I blow out this candle, it's time for us to sing Carry the Flame. And let us sing, Carry the Flame, Christian. Here we go.
Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet
Okay, we're not doing Carry the Flame, sorry. C'est si bon? It's a French tune, but I'll do it in English. C'est si bon. C'est si bon. Lovers say that in France when they thrill to romance, because it is so good. C'est si bon. So I say it to you like the French people do. c'est bon. So I say it to you like the French people do, because it's oh so good. Every word, every sigh, every kiss, dear, leads to only one thought, and it's this, dear. So say, c'est bon. Nothing else can replace just your slightest embrace. And if you only want be my own for the rest of my days, I will whisper this phrase. My darling, say, c'est bon. Say, c'est bon. Say, c'est bon. Say, c'est bon. Mais oui. Well, maybe in keeping with the French theme, since Stephen had some French words for us this morning. Lovely, lovely words. How about La Vie en Rose? That's a beautiful tune. Edith Piaf tune. Des yeux qui font baiser les miens, mourir que se pèse sous la bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme au geste diabétien. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'elle me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur un pas de bonheur dont je connais la chose. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la journée pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens à moi mon cœur qui bat. Edith Piaf. I guess, should we stay with Paris and France? Okay, we'll do another one called April in Paris. Is that okay, guys? Sure. Yeah? They all agree. April in Paris, chestnuts in blossom, holiday tables under the trees. April in Paris, this is the feeling no one can ever reprise. I never knew the charms of spring, never felt it face to face. I never knew my heart could sing, never felt a warm embrace, till April in Paris. Whom can I run to? What have you done to my heart? April in Paris, chestnuts in blossom, holiday tables under the trees. April in Paris, this is the feeling no one can ever reprise. I never knew the charms of spring, never felt it face to face. I never knew my heart could sing, never felt its warm embrace, till April in Paris. Whom can I run to? What have you done to my heart? Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for joining in. We really loved playing for you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend.